right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We have some legendary guests here today, and we were talking training, life, relationships, overrated, underrated. How are this going to work is we're going to basically list off a statement or a topic, and we're going to say whether that thing, we feel like that thing is overrated or underrated. So without further ado, let's hit it. Deload weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think people need to deload because 95% of people are already deloading all the time when they train. Most people are under training with effort. If I was one piece of advice, it's train harder than last time. I get made fun of. Oh, well, I trained so hard I couldn't make gains. Yeah, you're part of the 5%ers, like guys like us that would actually train really hard and might need some time off. But what happens is you're going to get sick at some point. You're going to go on vacation at some point. There's going to be a wedding at some point. You're going to be hungover at some point. And so why plan taking time off when you're actually making gains? It seems silly and pointless, stupid. Instead of taking a week off, take a day off, take 2 days off.
I think there's a tremendous amount of like CNS recovery that can happen in like 1 to 2 days off. I think if like I would rather see somebody train in a way that they don't feel like they need to take a full week off. I think that's telling of probably pushing way too many days in a row, or like, I still see people training 6-7 days a week. I think you definitely could stand to have way more rest days, and then on your rest days, don't go and like try to kill yourself with something else. Like take a walk, like just get steps in, get outside, do something you enjoy, spend time with friends and family. I think also we get so locked in with this fitness stuff that we like ignore a lot of other things in our life because we get so locked into it. So I think insofar as like a deload week being necessary to like continue to progress, I think is completely overrated. But I think Greg made the most point. There's going to be so many almost forced deload periods when you're sick. You have something come up in your life, you're moving, you have to travel. And I think you take those times to be like, okay, those are the times that I'm going to like focus on enjoying, like let's say this vacation for 5 days, and I don't feel like I need to work out 4 times. I think that's like the better approach.
Yeah, I think if your programming is good, I mean, that's obviously pretty vague, but if you have good programming, like you don't have any need to deload.
Yeah, I made a video the other day, and it caused a little bit of controversy because I said, isn't it funny to you that the same people that are telling you need to deload are also the people telling you that you need to do insanely high volume? I'm like,
saw that post,
there could be a little bit of crossover there. It's like, of course, if you're beating your body up day in, day out, you're going to feel like you need to have 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 days of recovery between that. But if you're actually doing the amount that you need in order to stimulate, but not going so far overboard that you're getting into crazy amounts of fatigue buildup, there should be no reason for you to have to deload.
This is equivalent to a cheat day. If you need a cheat day or cheat weekend, you're over dieting. You shouldn't need to have a cheat day. If you need to eat 4,000 or 5,000 calories on Saturday because you're eating 1,500 all week, then you're dieting wrong. Same exact thing. You're dieting wrong. If you need a deload week, you're probably training too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do Anavar. This was Greg's suggestion, by the way.
Yeah, Greg wanted the...
I wanted to get back on Anavar. No, it's underrated because many people think it's a steroid just for girls. As a man, it was my favorite oral. It works exceedingly well. It's going to give you a lot of gains, and a lot of people, that's their first ever steroid. Trust me, it's like, I'm going to be on Anavar. They're not going to tell anyone, and the stuff really works. So I'm saying it's underrated because there's way more people using it than people think. A lot of the girls, no one would ever guess. They're the bikini competitors, and trust me, that stuff's working.
The reason I say,
I was going to say, I thought you were an overrated
I'm
guy.
overrated. Sorry, I flipped it wrong. Overrated on Anavar. I think orals, as a general rule of thumb, should be used like when absolutely only ever necessary. When you are taking orals, you get the double filtration, so you ingest it, you got to pass it through once, filter it, and then it goes in your bloodstream, and then you filter it a second time, and that's why it usually induces higher levels of liver and kidney toxicity. From a safety perspective, it's usually a lot safer than some of, like, especially all the other orals, like, that are more highly associated with, like, strength, like anything that you're talking about, like Anadrol, Superdrol, D-Ball, any of the other orals that, like, will be inevitably very, like, water retentive and also strength inducing are much more dangerous. So don't get me wrong there, but I would say if you can stick to things that, and it seems counterintuitive, but injectable within reason of if you were going to do steroids, because if you've kind of limited two things. One is the digestive feedback that comes from taking orals. I have experienced terrible like acid and reflux, and just from like very low doses.
From Anavar?
Anavar, correct.
Don't take Anadrol then.
I would never. I have never, will never. And so I think there's this insinuation that like orals are a little like, oh, they're safer because you're not injecting something. It's the exact opposite. Like orals usually will have more side effects than like a very clean injectable like a Primobolan or a Masteron or a bioidentical testosterone. So I think that's just like why I think it's overrated in the sense of there's things that you can take. I think, like, for example, Primo is going to just shit on Anavar every day.
Orally?
There's no oral Primo. I mean, I think there is, but...
Well, I used to sell it, so...
So there is oral. Crazy, dude. It's an insane thing to
Primo
say.
is way overrated because 90% of the time it's fake. And it's very androgenic for women. Like women will take 100 milligrams. I'm just on Primo, and it's but your voice is fucked.
Primo for women, yes, absolutely not. What I'm saying
Overrated
is,
for
I think
women.
steroids in general for women are extremely like overrated. I don't think the effects are rapid and irreversible.
I find women will say, I'm only on 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams Anavar. And I'm like, as if it's like not a big deal. I'm like, are you kidding? That is like going to change you. Mm-hmm. Like you're going to look freaky, like fast. So I feel like it's underrated because people think it's only Anavar.
The fact that you think Primo is overrated is insanity to me.
I've used 1,000 milligrams of Primo and 200 milligrams of test for a 12-week cycle, put on 2 pounds. And I would do like 200 milligrams of Tren and way more results. So I would say Primo overrated. People trying to get it. Half the time it's
like
fake.
Tren underrated.
So, well, that's the question then. Were you just getting fake Primo?
Well, I'm pretty confident in my source. So, yeah. I was
you said half the time it was fake, and then you said my results were bad. So
but you may or may not know that I was like...
It's like
I literally have a criminal record for having this stuff.
It's like how everybody but us has fake Turk.
Which is the exact truth. Exactly. We're the only ones that I know that have real Turk.
That's true.
So if you're smuggling in from another country, you probably can know what you're getting if you see like what you're getting. But
all right, that leads us. You guys have. You guys are
not going to let
I'll
you
just
back
quickly
in
say
Canada.
that I'm going to do like a in between because I don't have any comment on Anavar. I don't know
It's
anything
fair if you
about
don't
it.
use it. Then.
Thing is, maybe I'm just on the. I think it all depends on what crowd you talk to, because what happens is I don't know, like the girls that I've seen talk about it and everything are like praising Anavar to the high heavens, and then the guys are like crapping on it like all the way. And I agree with Eric as far as like the whole like taking orals versus injectables. I think people get so concerned with putting a pin in themselves, or like people who are uninitiated are like they're so scared of the needle itself. They're like, oh well, something that goes through the mouth must be healthier. And I'm just like, that's not the way the body works.
I would argue
Maybe
pinning
I'll
is
flip my-
underrated,
change
like
my
based on
answer.
what you're saying, which is the truth.
Underrated?
Yeah, pinning
Yeah.
is underrated because people are like, oh my God, you're actually injecting?
Well, they
Like,
get
if you tell your girlfriend, I'm just using Anavar, I'm using a SARM, it's like, oh no. But if you're injecting TRT, it's like,
Right.
whoa, you're actually
As-
putting a needle in your body? It's like, it's prescribed by my doctor.
Well, I think it's because needles are associated with doctors, and anything that goes in the mouth is like, oh, everybody does that.
Yeah.
So it's like automatically, okay, well, that must be the healthier option. And that's why I'm kind of with Eric on that, where I'm like, okay, if you're taking this because you think somehow it's going to be healthier for you, rather than taking in, I don't know, doing a low dose test or something like that.
This is truth, yes.
I'm just like, yeah, no, it's not going to be the case.
Anavar's the one drug I miss right now doing. Like, I've been on HRT for like 5 years, just test. If I could add one thing, that's the one. Yeah, it's, for me, it's just the shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Next is Turkesterone.
Uh-oh. Please don't uninvite me to any other collaborations.
Yeah.
I can't understand how it could be overrated when so many people think it's
like
placebo,
fucking,
that it doesn't work, that it's bullshit.
I think it's because I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's because of the room we're sitting in.
I can't say underrated. Meanwhile, I've got the Turk
I guess
Hyper 3000
compared to-
over here.
For how much I would brag it up, I could see somebody else thinking it's overrated, but compared to what the general consensus of the world is,
Yeah, I guess it's
I think
fair
it's
to
just they're
say a
using
lot of
fake
people
products.
don't even know about Turk unless you're part of like the lifting community. you would know about it. But so I guess I'm looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah, considering it's better than creatine. Creatine's so overrated in comparison.
The reason I'm saying
what
overrated is
metric
because
are you
we
using
have
for that, though?
How
the
many
reason
people
I'm
could
saying
feel it or
overrated
notice
is
it
because
working
we
as a
don't have
percentile?
any objective data to support it like conclusively. That's why I say overrated. And that's I put a lot of weight into that.
Yeah, that's fair from that
So,
point. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And you have a ton of anecdotal people telling you, like, man, this stuff's crazy. So, like, you're obviously going to have a different perspective
I'm
just
also
in terms
biased
of what
to
you're exposed
personal
to.
use, and
Yeah.
like when I used Anavar, I just liked it that much, and I'm very like, if I take any drug, it's like I'm the guinea pig that wants to try because I can notice anything at any dose almost, and so I'm just like so sensitive that I get a really good big benefit from it. Other people like you use it, didn't work.
That's the thing. I actually like doing little experiments on myself. If there's something that I know is not going to be detrimental to my health, but it's like, hey, like other people have hyped this up, I'll give it a go. So I gave the Turk a go. I didn't really notice anything from it.
I bet if I put
but-
5 milligram tablets, or no, I'll go 10 milligram tablets, put it in a bar, and said this is Turk, and you used it, I bet you would be like, I don't really notice it working.
You
Because I
think so?
used to sell Anavar, and it'd be like, it's fake. And I'd be like, I'm on the same dose. I'm taking 10 milligrams too.
Yeah, but I'd also put on 5 to 10 pounds of lean mass.
You may or may not. On 10 mil, I don't think you'd feel it. You might like, even if the scale goes up, you're not going to go into like feel it. But I would absolutely, without question. I'm in the gym and I'm like, what is happening right now?
So wait a second. So then why are you taking it if you wouldn't see, like, if you wouldn't see objective metrics to indicate like additional contractile tissue? Like, what are you taking it for?
For me,
Just the
I
feeling?
absolutely would notice it, feel it. I add weight. I'm leaner, stronger, increased intensity mentally, and
So you see your body
see
weight go
all
up
of these
and
things.
not get fatter.
Or,
and
for
you see your
example,
gym
like Will
performance.
Tennyson's body weight went down while on a cut, but just as much strength and more energy in the gym, and was able to train harder while in a calorie deficit,
I
which
just,
is like,
I just think the biggest thing is like, and this is like when I first got into working with Greg with HCLT, I tried all of the other products, and I was like, I love the sweet, like the protein powder, the Seco bars, the pre-workout, the inch workout. Like I love, like I legitimately was like, I would use this all of these products every day. And so I was like, when Greg like came to me, I was like, do you want to do this with me? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I was unsure about was testosterone. I'm gonna be 100% honest. When we first signed on, there was a whole this like thing about like, okay, is our testosterone even real? And then like experiencing being part of the company for the last 12 months and seeing what happens behind the scenes of like how thorough like our business owners are. Like the thread is like alive at all times, like our message thread. It's just insane how much time we've taken to make sure that we are getting actual like real stuff, and it's a headache and it's like really tough, but we've done such a good job. And I started taking it because I was like, I don't need this, I'm enhanced, so why am I taking Turk? And then I started taking it pre-workout, and like I will say, like I legitimately noticed the difference in two things. One is like focus and like really refined focus and almost aggression, like refined aggression within my workouts. And I was like, maybe it's just placebo. And then I remember telling Phil here, like I forgot to take it on a day, and then I realized I'd forgotten to take it, and like I kind of retroactively thought about the workout. I was like, I could really feel like the difference of like when I didn't take it today. And so I think for me, then I was like, had periods where I'd like take like 4 weeks off and do 4 weeks on, and really try to like be 100% honest with myself. Like, do I feel like the strength differences, the aggression or whatever? And it really does. Like I feel it acutely within my training. And I wish we would do studies on like the real, like, Ajuga.
it's so frustrating when they use
because
cyanosis instead of Ajuga.
Do you think you'd be able to have it come from your own and fund a study in regards to that?
Well, then
Hundreds of
it's
thousands of
biased.
dollars potentially,
Hundreds of
and then
thousands.
no one would believe it because
Because
guess who
funded
paid
by
for the
you.
study?
funded it.
See, you'd have people who actually understand literature though, like myself, and people who know how this stuff works. Like funding has to come from somewhere. That's always the way it works. And like as long as you are willing to publish the results, like you say, I'm putting this out there, or we're going to publish the results regardless of what they are. Like, I think you'd be surprised at how many people would actually accept that. It's usually the less intelligent people who say, well, if it's funded by so-and-so, then you can't count it. So it's actually you'd be quite surprised that most people are okay with you funding a study as long as it's like you didn't fund 5 studies and only show the results of 1.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're like, if it's predetermined, you're like, we are doing this. Here's when the results will be published. Blah blah blah. Obviously, make people aware of the conflict of
It's
interest.
pretty shitty when people like post studies and then we prove, like, you should see the work we go behind proving that they use the wrong stuff. You need to redact that. Oh no, we're not saying anything.
Talk about it, though.
What's that?
We should talk about it.
It wouldn't be a bad idea if you were gonna fund a legit study
And see,
to
some
just be like,
people
hey, here's been
hate
some of
us
the issues
behind
before.
the scenes. Like some of these guys that do these studies, like we've made them redact. And we've basically tattletaled that they're making bullshit studies. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll do the study with your stuff. And it's like a DEXA scan of the size of the bicep of a 4 weeks using Turk at this amount of dose. I'm like, that same study with 20 milligrams of Anavar would not show a statistically significant difference. And then they would say, oh, see, no, it's no significant difference. Even though there could be a difference, it's not statistically significant enough. These things are hard to prove. Like, you really think just taking creatine, your arm size is going to be like, what, that's half a centimeter bigger in a month at 5 grams? It's like, so that's some of the problems. It's almost like, I wish the study could be almost qualitative instead of quantitative. Where you would write down, how do you feel?
Yeah,
Like-
you can do that. You can, like, it's a lot of times people are like, obviously they don't value it quite as much as the objective data points, but assuming you have like a decent process when it comes to placebo, Turk, you can do subjective measures as well.
And imagine how long it'll take. Like, how many studies on creatine? Is there 1,000 and it's been like 20 plus years?
Yeah.
I feel like Turk's going to be 20 years and it's going to be a slow type of thing. Like, I don't think it is being like, oh, Greg just posted a study and now it's real. It's going to take a lot.
Oh yeah,
It will.
100%.
It will. But I think it would also speak to your credibility if you're willing to take the approach that Joel just kind of explained.
No, I think it would be something where it would at the very least show people that you're like, yeah, I'm not worried about what the results will be because I believe that this product is what I say it is.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a solid way.